It's my pleasure to welcome to the Legislature members of the Canadian Armed Forces from HMCS York, the Laurie Scott's 32 Service Battalion, Queen's York Rangers, 32 Signal Regiment, Queen's Own Rifles, Canadian Forces College, the 4th Canadian Division Headquarters, and representatives are also here today from the Royal Canadian Legion, St. John's Ambulance, the Royal Canadian Military Institute, and the Commissioners of the Great Lakes. I'm also proud to welcome to the Legislature some female veterans from the Second World War: Helen Kerr, June Rudd, Clara Bateman, Sybil McClure, Beatrice Armstrong, Margaret Orr, and Ethel Wood. Welcome to Queen's Park.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I believe you will find there is unanimous consent that each party be permitted to speak for up to 5 minutes to pay tribute to the women who served in the military in Second World War.
The member from Haliburton, Kawartha Lakes Brock is seeking unanimous consent to pay tribute. Do we agree? Agreed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm honoured to stand today in the House on behalf of our Progressive Conservative caucus to pay tribute to the remarkable women who served our country during the Second World War. We are humbled by the fact that we owe our vibrant parliamentary democracy in no small part to the sacrifices made by Canadian women and men in uniform. Indeed, we owe them our very lives and freedoms. Women were involved in the war effort from the very beginning. During both World Wars, women served as integral role as nurses both overseas and at home. The Second World War saw women serving in other military capacities for the very first time. The Women's Division of the Royal Canadian Air Force was established in 1941 and was quickly followed by the Canadian Women's Army Corps and Women's Royal Canadian Navy Service. Tens of thousands of women served in the military. Their contribution was crucial to the Canadian and Allied victory in 1945, and their courage is exemplified by the veterans we are lucky to have with us in the Speaker's gallery today. Let me tell you a few of their stories. Clara Bateman served in the WREN, the Women's Royal Navy Service, during the war. Clara enlisted, as was said, underage at 17, having hidden her true age from recruiters. She was stationed at HMS Daedalus, a Royal Navy air station at Lille-on-Solent in England, where she worked as a clerk in the supply department. She remembers the incredible busyness in the lead-up to D-Day as the base overflowed with tanks, equipment, and people. There is also Helen Kerr, who served as a first lieutenant in Canadian Army hospitals during the war. Miss Kerr was just 25 years old when Canadian forces landed on Juno Beach. 359 Canadians lost their lives on that day, and First Lieutenant Helen Kerr was one of those sent to provide care to the wounded. I also like to take this opportunity to remember Billy Picard, a World War II veteran in my riding in Haliburton. Billy was one of only 20 postal workers stationed in Europe during the war. She and her 19 colleagues ensured that families were able to communicate with their loved ones in the service. I thank Billy for her service, as well as her dedicated contribution to the Haliburton Legion for many years. We also have June Rudd, Sybil McClure, Beatrice Armstrong, Margaret Orr, and Ethel Wood, as well as many of their family members with us today. Thank you for sharing this moment with us here in the Legislature. And it's wonderful that we are joined by many women who are currently serving in our military and members of our beloved Royal Canadian Legions across the province. Thank you to the sailors, soldiers, aviators. You are carrying on a proud legacy. On behalf of the entire PC caucus, I offer my sincere gratitude and admiration to all the women veterans here today. Thank you for your service to your country. Each and every one of you is a true Canadian hero.
I thank all members for their sincere and heartfelt comments. My personal comment is that women, along with men, have had to see and do things that no one should have to do. And you've carried that with such grace over all these years. I call it the black spot, the dark spot on your soul that you've carried for us. We are indebted to you forever. Thank you.